even continue to do something. I know I should have done that before. All right. What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending what time you are interacting with this. This is your boy, Muktar Muhammad. For the ones that don't know me. Hold up. You know what? Let me retry that. Hold up. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending what time you are interacting with this information. This is your boy, Muktar Muhammad. For the ones who don't know me, and the ones that do know me, you already know who I am. I don't have to keep telling you. All right, let's get this happen. Let's get this together. Let's make this happen. Let's do this and let's do that. Welcome to another episode to, a Plethora of Stories. And you know what we do. You know how we do it. And every day we do the same thing. We got to do this and do that and do this and do that. All right. Let's put this mic right there so that way when we're shouting, we can shout it closer, loudly, and scream. So, welcome to another episode. Your Plethora of Story. In today's episode, we are going to dive in on the complexity of people having kids, or why they don't want to have kids, or all of that nonsense that people most of the time argue about, or going to just directly. I'm just not even going to extend it more than I already have. All right. I'm not even going to do all of that. Parenthood, balancing responsibilities and care. All right. When it comes to parenthood or parenting, for that matter, it's part of life, a journey that's filled with joy, challenging, and what was the word? Tough decision making. But before we continue, okay, and dive in, and some people, might get offended without hearing others' perspective on a lot of things. But let's acknowledge that there is more to parenting just meets the eye. I'll try to attack and give you best breakdown and so that is essential to every segment of this talk that I'm talking about, and how money matters, why caring is crucial, and how cultural influences our views in raising a family. And that's most definitely, all right. And some people do believe, as a man, if your purpose is not to make more kids, you're a loser. Some culture, they believe that. And the more kids you have, the more manly you are. And there is a whole purpose of this podcast is that, I've seen a post, somebody post, bashing in the reason of why some of us men are losers, because we're not, kids making oriented. We're not, kids making goals, that makes us losers. If you're not making a child every single year, like you're trying now for a soccer team, you're a loser, because we are not focused in making a whole lot of kids. And that is one of the ridiculous things that I've heard, and that's why it prompted me to make this podcast. All right. But at the same time, it's always the mindset. It's the way you think. It's a great influence in the way we make our, we live our lives or not. And it lets us, divine into the decisions that we make. So let's dive in and learn something. Okay, let's dive in and learn something. First up, one of the biggest things that influences people to have or don't have kids, besides just people just being irresponsible, is money. All right, finances. People don't talk about that more often than this, and things are always been challenging in life. But in today's world, and from experiences of the modern day, bringing up kids isn't cheap. Okay, bringing up kids isn't cheap, and that's a fact. And from diapers to college funds and the cost in between that, they add up. And it's not just about dollar to cents. It's also about ensuring our kids have what they need to thrive in their day-to-day lives. So money is one of the things that people it determines people whether they should have kids or not. And at the same time, the importance of financial stability in itself is, the journey of parenthood versus, careless of having just multiple kids, just, having offspring just because you could have them. And that's not how it goes. All right. And speaking of carelessness has no place in the world of parenting, because like I mentioned previously, money, so you got to show, love, you got to, nurture, and you got to be there for your kids. And in a day-to-day life, mostly, discussion of the significance of emotional support, setting boundaries, and creating safe space for those, for your kids to grow. Because when it comes down to it, care is what truly makes a difference in the child's lives. Obviously, among, being financially able to take care of the child. Not just having them, just to be having them. All right. And on top of all of that, everybody's background is different. Everybody grew up different. Everybody, household is different from everybody else, because whatever common sense that you was installed in is different from other people's common sense. Okay? Everybody has different cultural background, cultural influences. And one of the things that the cultural shapes our views on family, and that is no exception when it comes to parenthood. But whether you're from the hustle and the bustle of the city, or the quiet countryside, or just third world country, cultural norms play a significant role. They play a significant role in approaching raising kids. While there are differences between third worlds and in a Western world, there's a lot of cultural background. There's a lot of things that come into play when it comes to bringing offsprings into this world. And one of the things, and don't forget, none of these kids asked to be here. Let me just throw that out there randomly. All right, none of these kids asked to be here. So a little breakdown, and it may, making it easier for someone to understand all of the things I'm talking about. 1, there have to be financial responsibility. 2, there have to be carefulness. You have to care. That for this child, you have to love this child. You have to support this child, but you have to do everything outside just buying them things. Right? Financial responsibility is realizing that you can only be responsible, okay, especially when you have kids. Ensuring their livelihood without struggle is essential if you care for them, at least. Right? Carelessness plays no role on that. Right? Moving again to care, being careless means that you're having kids without any responsibility, without being present for them, simply for the sake of recognition. Like I mentioned, the whole purpose of how this episode came about is because somebody was talking about that as a man, if you're not making kids, or your purpose of making kids, you're a loser. That's a backward, uneducated mindset to me. I mean, whoever feeling some type of way, you feel some type of way. It is what it is, All right, and this stems from stupidity, immaturity, and the lack of self-accountability. All right, just to have kids, this stems from stupidity, immaturity, and the lack of self-accountability. I've already said it. Replay it. All right, it is not that some people don't care about having as many kids, but if you one of those people, and you must ensure you're able to support them. Not everybody wants to have a lot of kids, and not everybody should have a lot of kids for that matter. But if you do, just make sure you're able to support them, because you'll be there if you in the house with them. You're not gonna stare at each other every single day, but are you able to support them where it matters? Are you able to give the kids one-on-one attention? Are you able to, buy these kids whatever they want in the world? And in the world that we live in today, especially in the Western world, which, I'm African, but I grew up here. I'm just gonna speak on my experiences and what I see and what I know and what I experienced. All right, in the Western world, there's more opportunities. Okay, just driving us, to pursue careers or jobs for the lifestyle that we desire, here. And that most of the time for the people who don't want, that's, causes, distraction and of, thinking about, even having kids or even more than they already have. And in the contrast, in the third world, there's fewer options, fewer opportunity, leading to focus on hustling and making, the best of, difficult situation, often resulting in just, having more children due to the, ample time and lack of, resources, and people just staring at each other. People just, have, like I said, the resources, and which is, results into most of the time in which I've seen just, people can't help it but, get busy, in which that is another thing in its own. Okay, knowing your limits isn't about being a loser. Knowing your limits is about being able to provide for your kids with, maturity, responsibility, and care. Bringing children into the world without being able to sustain them makes you a bigger loser. And anybody who has the mindset of like, oh, as a man, if you're not having kids, you're this and you're that, you're a loser yourself. Because you could make as much kids as you can and as you want to, but are you able to be there? Are you able to do all of the things that I mentioned above? Are you able to do that? But at the end of the day, whether you being there or not being there, some people, they really just can't have kids. It's not that they don't want to. Some people they can't. Some people no matter how much they try to, they really can't, because guess what? We always forget the reason of, medical reasons. We always forget that people are, their body is not letting them have the kids they want to have. It's not always about not wanting, or whatever other idiotic things people come up with for the reasons of why other people don't want. But okay, one of the biggest thing, ignore everything else, is one of the biggest thing is for medical reasons. In some cases, it just be medical reasons, and people can't have children. You always got to look into that too. All right, it's not a matter of fact of being a loser or all of that. I don't know. This kind of got to be a little bit ineptity. It caused a little sense of irritation. But as we mention what we mentioned, whether financial, whether it be being there for your kids, present, whether just some people, they just can't simply produce. Everybody's reasoning is different. Everybody has their own reasoning and whatnot. But to go about bashing people, making fun of them, just and you're not knowing what it is, it's just a sense of immaturity and stupidity, in my opinion. All right, sense of stupidity and uneducated, unaware, and not able to comprehend the common sense of sense of situational things. So, with all of that being said, I'm back at posting constantly, and we gotta get at this as much as we can. We gotta do this. We gotta make it happen. All right, and we will make this happen. And every single day, just remember, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. You gotta do what makes you happy. That's all that is. It doesn't matter who wants it and who don't want it. Because if you are going to bash people because they don't want to have kids, or whatever other source it is, because there's always a reason why people don't. Some things are personal, and some things are just matter of like, hey, don't really care for them. You gotta respect people's decisions. You just can't bash. Right? And that just, you know, it stems to sounding uneducated and stupid. All right, and for the people who have kids, love them, support them, be there for them, show them love, shower them with love. All right, don't let your kid be jealous of any other kid. Don't let your kids be like or you know, don't let your kids look raggedy. Don't let your kids be jealous of anybody else. All right, be there. None of these kids asked to be here. And for the people who don't want, respect. And everybody else that feel some type of way, well, I don't know, jump off a cliff. All right, all right, all right.